Hello everyone, welcome back to our lesson 2. This is a continuation of the paper 2 of 2023. It was question number 7. I dealt with the question number 7, but I promised to give you an extension so that you understand some basics in statistics 1. And particularly I promised you on histogram. So I have picked a question here which is 2007 paper 1. You see, 2007 it came in paper 1, now it has come in paper 2, but that is immaterial. All you need to know are mandatory topics. So whether they are brought in paper 1 or paper 2, it doesn't matter. Okay? Statistics is one of them. Do you remember? I mentioned a few. Statistics is mandatory. Matrices and transformation, mandatory. You have trigonometry, mandatory. You have calculus, where you do differentiation and integration, and so on. Probability. These are things that you must know by now. There are a few things that I want to explain today. This question, we are given marks, as you can see up there, marks. Okay? I'm sure you can focus. You can come nearer, and then I'll change the position of the camera. Okay, I think it is focused, well focused there, so you can see the marks there. We have been given the marks and we have been given frequency. I want to draw your attention that the marks given can be in classes that overlap, and they can be in distinct classes. This is a class that overlap. You can see the upper figure of the previous class is the first figure of the next class. Previous class, this one, upper figure is 10, but the next class, it starts from 10. Okay? Please understand that in such cases, the upper limit is normally these 2 divided by 2. So it will remain 10. Okay? It remains 10. This is overlapping. 70 is here, is there. 60 is here, and repeated again. So that is, try to get it from my approach, overlapping. But there are those classes, let me just use a small space here. It can be 1 to 4, 5 to 9, and so on. So you see there is nothing overlapping. I hope you get it right. Can I repeat? You see here there is 10 in the previous class. There is also 10 in the next class. I call it overlapping. This one, you may have a class 1 to 4, 5 to 9, 10 to 14, and so on. So there is no figure that is repeated. Okay? Those are the 2 things you have to master. How do I handle such case, and how do I handle this? Okay? So try to get the basics from your teacher. Okay? Now, frequency normally is frequency. You will always be given frequency. It's very rare you to be denied frequency. But other things now, the question was, it was a high level question. This is high level. It is not just recall that you get, calculate from the table, calculate mean, median, mode. Those ones are low level. This is a high level. In what sense? When you are doing histogram, in other words, they were made of bars. Histograph is made of bars. They are just bars. You'll get bars like this, others are long like that. They are bars. These are bars. Okay? And a bar has an area from the fact that we have the height and we have the width. So we can get the area. So see, it is a bit deep now. You can get the area from the bars. That is one thing you should know, that when you are doing histogram, basically you are dealing with bars. Then what about bars? Bars have got the height and the width. So we have a question which is asking us to get the area, and you know that area is height times width. So we have here the height which has been given 6 and the area that has been given 180. We have to compute the rest of these gaps. Now, the basics of histogram, 2 things. You must know what we call frequency density. Frequency density is division of frequency by corresponding width. This is what we call frequency density. You take a particular frequency, divide by the width. Now, from their table, you can see there will be a small space up here where you can squeeze the width. Small space, squeeze the width. And somewhere below their table, you can squeeze the height. Reason being, area is a product of height times width. So I can squeeze here the width. Let us use letter W. So I have W here. That is my width. And then you compute. This will be 10. This will be 20. You just subtract the figures. This will be 30. This will be 10. And this will be 30. So let us repeat. 10 minus 0 is 10. 30 minus 10 is 20. 60 minus 30 is 30. 70 minus 60 is 10. And 100 minus 70 is 30. Remember, you subtract straight if it is overlapping classes. If it were not overlapping, like what I showed you, 1 to 4, 5 to 9, you don't do that. You don't do that, eh? You subtract and then add 1, because figures are inclusive when they are not overlapping. Figures are inclusive when they are not overlapping, right? So try to get the distinction between the figures that you are operating with, right? So remember, don't start doing things that will consume your time. Take a small space above their table, squeeze something. Then below their table, also squeeze something for your understanding. Now that we have the width there, okay, we have the width, we can apply frequency density. In some books, you will also get frequency density is referred to as height. Frequency density is referred to as height. But it is not in most books. Most of the books, you don't get that. And that is what now brings confusion to students. But get it. Frequency density sometimes is referred to as height. And it can be frequency over width multiplied by C, where C is a constant. When do we tend to use C? We tend to use C if the frequency density has decimals. So instead of working with decimals, you can multiply by a particular figure. It can be by 2, it can be by 5, it can be by 10. So in doing so, I eliminate the decimals. So C is a multiplying factor to eliminate the decimals. It can be 2, it can be 5, it can be 10, and so on. Okay? So don't get surprised when you see some books have this version and some have this. It is the same thing. The difference is this person anticipated the decimals and therefore he applied a multiplying factor C to eliminate the decimals. Okay? Right. So this lesson I'm only doing your basics of histogram. Understand what they are. They are bars. A bar has a height and has a width, which means you can get the area. What are some of the components? The sum of the components that we need is the formula for frequency density. So frequency density, you take individual frequency, divide by its corresponding width. You can practice this for a day and it sticks. Okay? Right. So let us draw our attention down there a bit. Here, down here. That a median bar, sometimes you may be asked to draw a median bar on your histogram. How do you do it? Divide total area into 2 equal parts. In other words, your histogram, for example, if your histogram is like this, there, for example, it is like that. Okay? For example, we have our histogram like that. So I can say this is bar 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 bars. These bars are made of height times width. You get area 1. Then there will be height 2 times width. You get area 2. And so on until you get area 5. So there will be area 1 plus area 2 plus area 3 plus area 4 plus area 5. That is what I call total area. Then divide by 2. You divide by 2. That is where you are going to draw your bar. For example, if the total area happens to be 500, okay? So what is 500 divided by 2? 250. 250. Therefore, 250 is equal to perhaps area 1 plus area 2. But it does not have area 3 as a whole. So what you do is you say times height by x. Height will be known. The height will be known because you will have already drawn the graph. That, for example, area 1 was 60 and then area 2 was 40. Maybe I give it a higher figure. It was 100. That is area 2 was 100. Therefore, I will say plus hx is equal to 250. So this is 160. 160. When you bring it this side, 250 minus 160 What do you get? 250 minus 160. 90. Okay? 90 is equal to h times x. What we need is really x, because height exists. The way I told you, you will have had these heights. That. So there will be, already you have drawn. Maybe this is area 1, this is area 2. Therefore, this height here can be read for block 3. So block 3 height is known. You put it here and you get the value of x. After getting the value of x, you read your graph work well and draw the bar with broken lines. Okay? So basically today I've gone through this. I want us to repeat. Histograph is made up of bars. Bars have width on the x-axis and the frequency, density or height on the y-axis. Okay? So we are talking of frequency, density against width. That's what we mean. You need to know the formula. Frequency density is frequency over width. And some books have got frequency over width times C. So this C is a multiplying factor to eliminate the decimals, or to make it the way you want, to make the heights the way you want, the way you are comfortable. But I am repeating, whenever you have decimal, it's better to use a multiplying factor. Then median bar, if you are told to draw, you will draw it with broken line. That is how you draw the median line. How do you get median line? First step, get the total areas. After getting the total areas, divide the areas by 2. E.g., 700 divided by 2, 350. Then analyze from the first area. If this area is 200, okay, maybe let me start with a small figure. If this area is 40, the next one is 200. So you see 40 plus 200 is 240, not yet 350. If this area here, the third area, is 150, and already we have 240, so 240, you add 150. Suppose the third area is 150, then you have 390, meaning that we need a portion of the third bar. You need just a portion. Then how do you get it? Area 1 plus area 2 plus hx. But h normally exists because you have already drawn. You put your h and you look for only x. After getting x, you draw broken line upward, vertical line. Thank you very much. Keep on subscribing for more. Till then, bye-bye. Next lesson, we will do the same, but now the real work. Filling the table and also drawing the graph. See you